So the title of my talk this morning is Connection. And as I'm getting ready to go on retreat and travel, I found myself saying I'm going to miss the daily online meditation group. And that means you all. I'm going to really miss being here. And I have one of my brothers is getting married, so I have a wedding to go to right after I get back from the retreat. So I'll be out till the end of June. And that feels like a really long time to be away from Dharma friends. So I was, going through some thinking about this, feeling about it, and really came up with it's the connection that is so important to me, connecting with others, connecting with the Dharma, connecting with the group. And this group has influenced the way we've taught Dharma and the way we talk about connection. So I'm going to run through some of my thoughts about this and go somewhere with it, but not too far, just kind of prompt us a little bit around thinking about connection. Because I looked it up, of course, and I see other words for connection are links, associations. And I extrapolated from there, which is how do we put those links and associations together? And right there from that description, we're back at the teaching of conditionality, that things are put together. Nothing just simply is of itself on its own, that we put our associations and connections together, and that feels important in the way we link things, because that's going to be how we connect and the way we know. So this group started so long ago, 4.5 years ago, something like that. But it started with the pandemic. And because we started that way and we've gone through it together, this group is still very linked to the pandemic and that whole kind of time period. And we're not out of it yet. As I'm getting ready to travel, I'm going to be masking while I go through the airport. We're going to have to do COVID tests before we meet each other in person so that we take care of our connections. That's really a big value that we have. And with this group, the way we've connected is we've worked together to put on this daily online meditation so that you could show up, we could show up. We have a team of hosts who do all the tech work, that do the scheduling for the teachers. Some of them you know, some of them you may not know, but that we were meditators from two different Sanghas, from Sati Sangha and Pine Street Sangha, and that this meeting connected us. And we became, for a while, we were the Piti Sangha. That Piti means joy in the Buddhist language. And, we've come out of joy. No, I'm just kidding there. We are now just the reflective meditation community. We're just a larger Sangha of people who practice reflective meditation together. And it is joyful at times. And if you're new to us, especially today, we're just happy to have you on the call and have you join us, and you're welcome to be a part of this community. But the other way it's influenced is that we've influenced the way we teach Dharma is we've gone to really making these short 10-minute Dharma talks. That wasn't something that we inherited, and we've kind of created that. And we have over 1,000 of them. And they're now put into a podcast where you could listen at any time that you wanted with a Dharma talk from this community. So we're out there. And that's another way to connect with the larger world. And, one of our Australian meditator friends, she added her welcome, her intro and outro to our podcasts episodes, which welcome people in to listen to the Dharma and then actually remind people to meditate and reflect and go into your own experience after listening to our Dharma talks. Her voice is beautiful. If you haven't listened to an episode lately, I would highly recommend it. Um, but another thing that I've seen develop in this group is that we've had this natural separation, because we're obviously separated in our physical bodies. But here in the Zoom, we're in these little boxes, each in our own little world. And it has this feeling of being separate, and yet we're connected. We're connected deeply by what we're doing here daily, talking about the Dharma, listening to each other's experience. And it was Donald Winnicott that was part of his teaching. He's a psychoanalyst and pediatrician, English psychoanalyst and pediatrician, that came up there, coined the phrase separate but connected. And the depth of connection that can come from also understanding that we are separate, I think leads into a Dharma teaching of independence, of guiding us to become more independent, that we're not becoming so enmeshed with each other or overly dependent on each other, that we have a kind of built-in or somewhat limited connection actually helps guide us towards independence. And yet, even while we're independent, we're dependent on so many things. So we can't be fully independent from others, from the circumstances in our life, from the way we put together our connections. So another way we've connected is we've done writing together on the teachers. And the teachers, Janet, Nelly, and I put together a writing on called In the Spirit of Informed Consent. Because part of the way we want to connect is that we want to be more explicit about what you're getting into if you come into this practice. What will start to happen if you meditate this way? Even though we can't make promises, we do talk about the things that come from connecting to your practice and to yourself and to others. So we ended that piece, and I'm not going to read the whole piece. It's quite long, and actually it's not published anywhere. We'll put it somewhere on one of our websites. But we end that piece with this paragraph. So we want to express our gratitude for the people who have taught us and the wealth of knowledge that has been available to us. Gratitude arises naturally in the course of a meditation practice. Each one of us has been taught by someone, has connected with someone, whether in person, through a book, or a discussion. This is how knowledge and wisdom are passed down, internalized, and evolve. Though we may forget some of our sources and some of our connections, whenever possible, we take care to mention them so that others can benefit from their knowledge. So I'm going to do something a little sentimental or kitschy or something like that. I don't know what you would call it, but I just want to name everybody in the group because you're part of my wisdom circle. You're part of my Sangha. And Susan, I think we'll turn off the recording. We'll end the recording here